Thank you. Wow, great energy in the room. So I have to tell you a story. This is my second TED Talk, and the first time was an experiment. It was an experiment for everyone. It was an experiment for TED. It was an experiment for USC. It was the first independently organized TED event, so TEDx USC. And people said, if this goes on the TED website, your life will change. Okay, we're in Vegas, right? You hear that a lot. Do this and your life will change. Read this book, your life will change. Go to this course, your life will change. So several months later, I was up in the woods of Wisconsin, got no cell phone coverage unless I went to this one spot in my hotel room and kind of stood there with one foot and kind of did this. And I remember that because every time I did that, my phone would ring. And my phone would ring, and my phone would ring, and my phone would ring. And one of the calls was the email administrator at USC who said, would you please do something about your inbox? It's tanked the entire system. And that's what happened when the TED Talk went live. So when it came time to do another TED Talk, I went to the community that formed as a result of my life changing. See, that's really what happened, was this community formed. This community of communities and people and dozens of people and hundreds of people and thousands of people and even tens of thousands of people began showing up. And they wanted to apply this stuff. They wanted to build great tribes. And the line that I concluded the TED Talk at USC, in front of about 1,800 people with, was a throwaway line. It just kind of seemed like a way to wrap it, which was, you can build a tribe that can change the world. And since then, one of the things that's happened is a lot of people have done that. But I wish I could stand here and say that every person had formed a great tribe and had changed the world. But you see, some people didn't have the luck that others had. The thing about the world is it doesn't always want to be changed, right? The world sometimes fights back. See, if you remember the movie Braveheart, right? We remember the guy on the horse and half his face was blue. What we maybe don't remember, unless somebody specifically points it out, was the guy got tortured on a rack, right? I mean, sometimes when you try to change the world, really bad things happen to you. And so I went to the community. I'm getting ready for this. And just posed the question, what is it, what's the next line in the play? And so everything that I'm going to lead you through here and talk about, first of all, comes from the gut, because that's what the group said to do. The most important piece of advice they said is untuck your shirt, man. It's not USC, it's Las Vegas. Okay, so. And they said wear jeans. Okay, but it was at USC before, a college president was there, different environment. Okay. And they said come from the gut. And so probably the most important quote that I think of when I think of changing the world is this famous quote from Margaret Mead, and it's become kind of a cliche, and it's up on the screen here. And the essence of it is that a small group of people can change the world. But here's the very cynical way to look at it. And I call this Logan's corollary to this very famous quote, which is that never doubt that a small group of thoughtless, uncommitted people can prevent the world from changing. Indeed, they do so every day. So here's why we're having this conversation. You are here because you want to change the world. It's probably not a surprise. You can't do it alone unless you have superpowers. And if you are, because we're here in Vegas, I really want to go play roulette with you, right, so that we can win a lot of money. So you're going to have to build a tribe. And so what people said is, first of all, do a very quick deja vu on the 5 tribal stages, right? People said to do that. And then they said there's 3 things that people absolutely need if they're going to build a tribe that doesn't immediately get crushed. I had the opportunity this week to ride for a number of hours in the back of a limousine with one of my mentors, Warren Bennis, at USC. He's, I believe, now 86 years old. And we were talking about one change effort that had really jumped the tracks. It had not gone the way that we had hoped it was going to go. A lot of people got their feelings hurt. And frankly, I'm really disappointed by a lot of people involved. And Warren sat back and he said, the thing is about change is that change has no constituents. Change has no constituents. So I want you to think about that as we go through this. The question is, your tribes, are they like Margaret Mead's tribe, the one that can change the world, or are they sort of my cynical version? So here very quickly is the tribal leadership deja vu. Some of you are familiar with this. We'll all be up on the same page by the time we're done. So first of all, there's what we call stage 1. Okay, remember this is groups of people, this is not individuals, but this is how life occurs to them. That it is unfair, that you cannot cut a break. It's as though you're a person in this prison behind me. Now remember, we're talking about a whole group that views the world this way. This is where you get despairing hostility, acts of violence, really bad things. Stage 2, remember there are 5. Here's the second one, is kind of the Department of Motor Vehicles, right? So we've got our friends here from The Simpsons. This is the place of not really despairing hostility, just kind of a bummer. So the future that people in stage 2 see isn't terrible. It's not hopeless. It's just not particularly fun, right? It's a bummer. It's like going every day to the Department of Motor Vehicles. The third one is my personal favorite because it's the most fun to talk about. Donald Trump is, of course, the poster child. The most common words you hear are I, me, and mine. Okay, notice this is, again, the Donald. Now, I've heard from people who work with him, he's actually not this way. I'm going off his television personality. So notice how the Donald makes decisions. I know it's scary to see a little face of Donald decapitated. Some of you that may please, if you do, let's talk later. You need to advance your evolution of consciousness. Okay. So around Donald are people. And Donald forms relationships like this, and his goal is to make them all little mini Donalds, right? This is good, because now everybody's like me, and they make decisions like me. So this is stage 3. This is I, me, my. This is the problem in healthcare and academia, okay? If your tribes are like this, here's the future. And if you ask anyone, they'll say the same thing. If only everybody would just shut up and do what I say, this could be really cool. The problem is they won't shut up. So I'll say it again, and I'll say it with more gestures, and I'll inflect my voice more, and I might even go and try to, order them around. Make something bad happen if they don't do it. Stage 3, runs businesses, and it's why businesses are not particularly effective. Now, stage 4, this is where something really remarkable happens. Okay, I'm from USC, so my faculty contract says I got to at some point show the Trojan colors, so here they are. But this is where you get a whole group of people that comes together with shared values, and they say, we're great, okay? This is where high performance begins to show up. And then the very last one, and these are the tribes that can change the world, are ones where there's no them. Because here, of course, USC is playing somebody else. Somebody has to win. Somebody has to lose. That's the nature of the game. But at stage 5, this is a scene that may surprise some of you. This is the Manhattan Project. Group that built the first atomic bomb. Say, well, that's not particularly fun, right? Building bombs could end the world. But you see, it was a group of people that came together, first of all, to try to end the war. Many people had fled Nazi Germany. They knew what would happen if the Nazi regime got the bomb first. And they also wanted to bring atomic power to the world. And this small group of people came together, driven only by their passion, their values, and yes, their genius. And they changed the world. And so, with that deja vu, here then are the 3 things. And please understand, this is from the gut, okay? From the gut. You have to do, or the world will try to crush you when you come and try to change it.